to Liquid Courage, the podcast where I, Amanda Pereira, sit down with a fellow artist that I admire and ask them the questions I've never had the guts to ask them before. Sounds scary? Yeah, it really is. So I use a little liquid courage in the form of my guest's favorite drink. We cheers, chat, and connect as I attempt to soak up all the wisdom they have to offer. Today I sit down with Chelsea Larkin and we down some Magner cider. Chelsea is an actress, comedian, writer, and singer, and is a staple in the Toronto comedy community. Seriously, she's performing everywhere, like all the time. Chelsea has performed comedy on the Second City stage here in Toronto, at sea on a cruise ship, so cool, as a part of the cast of Beerprov at Sea, and as a part of JFL42's New Faces character showcase. This past summer, Chelsea wrote and performed her solo show, The Chels Stands Alone, for the Toronto Fringe Festival, where she won both the Comedy Bar and Second City Award for Outstanding Comedy, and Theatre Orangeville's Best of Fringe, awarding her the opportunity to remount her show at Theatre Orangeville Summer Arts Festival. As she mentions in our conversation, she might just be remounting this show here in Toronto this fall, so keep an eye out. I highly recommend checking it out. So Chelsea is a comedian, an actor, and someone I admire immensely. Hi, Chelsea.
Hello.
Hi. Okay, before we start, so we're drinking Magner cider, and I'm going to do a little ASMR crack open. Oh, I can never get under the... Oh my God, I didn't even open it, and it was just my finger. ASMR finger cut. Okay. Oh. God, that was so long and not worth it. Like I should have done that off.
I liked it. It sounded very refreshing.
See, you are just the positive, supportive energy. Oh, I'm like spilling everywhere. It's great. Hi. Okay, cheers. I'm going to take a sip. I have been like looking at this condensation filled drink for a while. Cheers.
Yes. Cheers to you.
Oh. Oh my God. It's like apple juice for adults. I love it so much. Okay.
It's very refreshing.
It's so refreshing. And because I wanted to do ASMR crack open, I just had it sitting here and like didn't let myself take a sip before I signed on with you. And that was it was like I was edging myself. It was ridiculous. It was crazy. Just with a drink.
Yeah.
You can tell. Hi, Chelsea. Oh my God, I'm so excited to have you here. You have been on my list like since the beginning. I'm so thrilled to have you on the podcast. Who am I?
I love it. I love to be on the pod.
Love to be on the pod.
And I literally am, what do I call it? Long-time listener, first-time guest-er, pod-er. Yes.
Oh my God. Thank you. That means so much. Oh my God. Can you tell I started sweating? For anyone watching, I like stretched out my sweater so long, got sweaty, like, oh my God, she likes it. What are the expectations? I want to die. But I'm sure I do that on my guests all the time, saying like, oh, I love you. And then they're probably like, oh God, what expectation are you setting for me right now?
Now I'm throwing it back at you because yeah, I love it. Such a fun podcast. It's all people that, are inspiring women. Like you're just the variety of people you've had is so fun. And your questions are great. And yeah, so I have been thinking like, I have liquid courage. Like maybe I'll be on it someday. And now I am.
Yes, you do have liquid. Oh my God. You also have so much like dry courage, like even without liquid. I admire so much about you and your very obvious courage in so many areas. Okay. How did you always know that you wanted to perform or like that you wanted to do that as a career? Did you just always know that?
I think so because I'm a twin. I have a twin brother.
I just learned this.
Yes. So we're it's like kind of an innate thing. I was going to say it happened in the 80s a lot. It probably still happens.
Wait, being a twin? Like being born as a twin happened in the 80s a lot?
I think that too, maybe. But also that people kind of like, they compare the twins, even if it's a boy and a girl. And even like the teachers would be like, one of you is the bad twin, one of you is the good twin. And you kind of adopt it without even knowing, even when you're little. So I was like, well, he seems to be good, so I guess I'm bad. So I would try to get attention. I would act out, which kind of led to me being like, well, I'm going to make a career of this.
I'm going to be a star of being the bad twin. So it's like a chicken or the egg thing. Like did that That's so interesting. When first of all, that's horrible.
I know.
Teachers, get your shit together. So
Yeah.
when you first heard, or like when you started hearing, like, oh, I guess I'm the bad twin, was your reaction like shame, or was it like, ooh, I'm the like? Did you embrace? I would have went full shame spiral. Like that's what I would have
think
done.
it was shame first because I was like, oh, bad means I'm less smart, I'm less liked, less cute.
Oh,
Uh, so I started to become like the class clown and like disruptive because I was like, well, there's no point in like paying attention to the lesson because I'm bad, like, and I'm dumb and I'm not going to learn it. Also,
oh.
we're going into this in like the first 2 minutes.
No, it's my favorite thing ever. How old are you when you're thinking this? Like, what's the
Hey,
age?
I think like six or seven.
Oh, and you're like
Yeah.
the cutest, most wonderful
Oh,
person in the world. And you're,
but but I was like a little bit more outgoing, and so then he was. So I was like, well, I may as well lean the hell in.
yeah.
It's 1989, baby. Like let's
What
let's
choice do I
go.
have? This
Yeah,
is what I have to do.
I know.
Oh my God, that's so interesting. Well, and then even like, then you get into an industry where you're being compared to people all the time.
Yeah,
You have to be unique and stand out. And I wonder, like, do you think being a twin, like, prepared you for that in a way, or was it like re-traumatizing?
I think it prepared me because you're kind of like subconsciously always trying to be an individual
Yes.
and always trying to find ways to stand out. And like some people choose lots of different ways to do it. Actually, like in my school, there were several twins. Again, early 90s.
What? Listen, there was something in the water.
Yeah,
Several sets of twins.
this was Ottawa in the 90s. There's something in the water.
A couple triplets, a
Yeah,
few quadruplets, but many, many twins.
yeah, for some reason.
Wow.
And it was always like one twin was good at sports, the other like was smart. Or
Stop.
and the,
They're all so different.
I know, and it was always like, or like one twin was like goth and the other one wanted to be a cheerleader. Like it was like they were very much like trying to be super different.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we kind of like my brother was like he was like a booker.
A booker. He booked clubs, you know.
Yeah, he booked
He was a
clubs.
booker at a comedy club
Yeah, in the early 90s
in
as a
first
child.
grade. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
It was a
yeah,
thing in the 80s, you know. They had kids as bookers. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So he would like, yeah, he was very book smart, I will say. So
Mm.
I was like, well, I'm gonna be like unbook smart, and I'm gonna, I ain't reading no book. Like, I'm gonna put on a play. I'm gonna put on a costume. So anyway, so that was how I started to be like, I really like this. And then my family moved to Toronto when I was about to start high school, and I was like, well, Toronto is where like the stars are made. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. And I became a little kid actor too.
Oh, wait. So when you moved to Toronto, that's when you became a kid
Yeah,
actor? Oh, and
yeah.
was your brother like stars are made in Toronto? I don't know if bookers are made in
I don't
Toronto.
know,
Was it like move aside? We've left the
but
capital. It's my town now.
exactly. But in Toronto, there was sports and
Mm.
sports writers. So he combined his two things, which
Oh.
was books and sports. So he may or may not have a career as a hockey reporter. It's not about him.
A reporter. Oh God, he
Ah,
even had to be in some facet of entertainment. God damn it,
I
he
know.
slid in there.
Oh, and he was in the school plays with me, and I like, but like he never felt any of the comparison. I felt it all.
Really?
I think he was just like, I was like, I hate you. Like you're Tevye and Fiddler on the Roof, and I'm just like one of the village people. Like, no. And then and he was like, oh. I was like,
I
this
just
is my
stumbled
craft.
in here.
Yeah, this is my craft. But anyways, yeah. So then
Oh,
I would do like kid commercials and like some like little kid print things and like and so I yeah until I went to school I was like, oh, like I'm gonna be Kirsten Dunst, and I wasn't.
yes. Oh my God, I was gonna ask you, like, it's so interesting though. I just want to go back. It's so interesting that you say that, like, you felt all the comparison because when
Yeah.
I was, I don't have a twin. The 90s, you know what I mean? I guess it happened in the 80s,
In
and then
Ottawa, yeah.
in Ottawa, and as soon as I was born in the,
Huh?
whatever, it wasn't in the water anymore.
Yeah.
And so, so my brother is 2.5 years younger than me,
Mhm.
and I didn't know this growing up, but when we became adults, or like, I don't know, 18, whatever. I guess that is an adult. Whatever. It
Yeah.
doesn't feel like an adult. I'm like, am I an adult now?
I
But when
know.
we got older, out of school, he shared with me that like when we were in school, anytime he had a teacher that I had, they'd be like, oh, you're Amanda's brother. You better be as good as her. You have a lot to live
Yes.
up to. And he always felt less than in comparison, and literally teachers telling him like, oh, I guess you're not as smart as your sister. Like shit like
Yeah.
that I had no idea. And it's funny because I didn't know the comparison, and I grew up thinking he's so much cooler than I am. Like I was the people pleaser. I was getting A's because I had to. I was
Yeah.
so anxious and terrified. I wanted to like get a tattoo and get a drink and move to a different country, and I didn't do anything of any of that. And my
Yeah.
brother was like getting a tattoo and being cool and trying things and making mistakes and getting in trouble. And I thought it was so cool. And yet he felt like he was being a failure. And it's so
Yes.
freaking interesting how tunnel vision you can get in your own story. And then you like repeat that narrative to yourself. And that's who you are. I don't know. It's just
It's so
fascinating.
true. And it's also uh teachers are like the authoritative people that you have other than like your parents. And
Yes.
sometimes you're with them more than your parents when you're kids in school. So yeah, like having that repeated to you all the time. Yeah. So I guess anyway, that was a really long answer to like why
Thank God.
why I was like, I'm gonna stand out forever. Like
Well, it's just so funny to me too, because like often in this industry, if people like if you ask like, I don't know, if I listen to a podcast with actors and they're like, would you let your kids get into it? And they're like, no, the comparison, like it kills them. I never want them to live in that. And so it's just so funny coming from a world where as a twin you're trying to get away from it, and then you're getting in that. You're like, Frank, I already have I figured this out. I'm fine. I'm gonna be the next Kirsten Dunst. Okay, so was that like she was the one you were looking to of like that's the dream career?
It was her or there was like an Anna Green Gables show. I didn't know where it was.
Right, of course.
But I knew that was somewhere in Canada, and like she seemed to work a lot. So
right.
I was like,
it wasn't even about the like story. No, it was like this girl is getting paychecks.
I was like, listen, like she's in everything. Like she's in the 2 shows that are on my channel and a couple commercials. The commercials were for Anna Green Gables, but she was still on.
What are the odds that she'd be in that? You're like, she's booking 100% of the things on my one channel that I'm watching.
Yeah. So I was like, they need somebody else. Like, I'm coming with my giant glasses and mushroom cut to take over this town. Like,
they need some variety on this channel.
Yeah.
Interesting. And so with, oh my God, and I always panic if it's Kristen Dunst or Kirsten. It's Kirsten, right? Kirsten. Yes. Okay. Yes. So Kirsten Dunst, was it like a movie you saw her? Like, is this like Bring It On, or is this earlier than that?
No, this is like, she was in Jumanji and Interview with the Vampire.
Oh, of course, you're a kid. This is when she's a kid, obviously. Okay.
And I had a babysitter that like let us watch that, and I was like, "That's the same girl." And I was like, "Oh my God! Like, look at her go!
The range!
Yeah.
Look at the Interview with a Vampire, and then like, oh wow, yeah, you're like, oh my God, wow."
And she got to kiss Brad Pitt, and I was like, "All right, like." This is it. Like, I'm 7, but like I want this now.
I'm 7, but like I want an adult male to kiss me and it be okay around here.
He's a vampire.
He's a vampire. Yeah. Because he could be young. Yeah, I forget sometimes that like her as a kid, and I'm not even trying to be like, like problematic, whatever. It's just, it's weird that when it's in film or television, there's this like, I don't know. There's different rules. Things are different. You're allowed to do different things.
Yep. And I thought it was great.
Yeah.
And I
sign me up.
And like it was the kids that were my age on TV. And then there was a girl in my school that did like, do you remember secret senders? They were like these little digital things, and you just stand in front of your friend and you just write a message and it just sends it to them.
Oh, it's like texting before texting.
That's all it was. And they never worked. But
no.
I know. She was in a secret sender commercial. And I was like, well, that's my goal. Like, I want to be in one of those. So I was in a few commercials. I was in like, I think like a Turtles commercial.
Okay.
I got around.
I hit the different conflicts. You know, I had a couple.
Yeah. It's like a lot more. And then like I couldn't I couldn't get to all the commercials, and my mom wanted me to focus on school. Boring.
Oh.
So I took a long break before I got into like plays and stuff. And I did community theater with like all adults, and I was like being like, "Hello, governor, like it's Christmas today," and it was like all adults, and I played a child like in every play.
You're like, I am booking like crazy right now.
Yeah.
Like, my gosh. Yeah, booked and blessed.
Yeah. And I remember like being like, oh, my brother is going to be in the front row. Like, he's going to be so jealous. But he was just like, good job, Chels. And I was like, and anything else?
Gonna go home and write in your diary about this, how much you hate your own life.
Exactly. Like, jealous. Yeah.
Oh my God. So when your friend got the Secret Sender commercial, when you were a kid, was it a situation where what was your automatic instinct? Were you like, oh, that's so cool, I'm so happy for her, and I'm friends with her, that's so cool? Or was it like, oh, screw her, that's my thing? What was the go-to?
I was mad. I was like,
yeah.
I was like, and I would like watch the commercial. I taped it, and I would watch it over and over and like critique it.
No, you wouldn't. Like an acting coach?
Yeah.
Do you remember what her flaw of her performance? Like, what was your issue with it?
I thought that first of all, I didn't like her bangs in the commercial.
Fair.
Yeah, fair. And she didn't look like she was enjoying the Secret Sender.
Yeah.
Also, I think she's married to one of the Toronto Blue Jays now.
So she's fine.
Yeah, she's fine. But
at
the time,
at the time, she had to work on her acting chops. Listen, in a commercial, the number one thing is like, you want to make the product look good. If you don't, if Secret Senders don't look fun, no one's gonna buy it. You would have made it look fun.
I was ready to go. I bought one. I practiced. Yeah, just in case.
No, just in case they recast.
But I did this all in like my own world. Like I was in my room, like looking in the mirror, like practicing all these things. Like nobody knew. I didn't like announce it. So I thought that if I like said it out loud, it would be like taken away from me. Like if I was like, family, I want to be like a celebrity or I want to be an actor. I was afraid that they'd be like, you're not doing that. Like you're going to be a teacher. So I would just pretend that it was like for fun. But really I was like, I'm taking over the world.
Oh my God. So was it that they would say again, like, no, you're this twin. Like that's not for you. Oh, interesting.
Or like, that's too ambitious. Like you stay in your little lane.
Yeah.
Like, and like my parents would never do that. But for some reason I was like, I gotta keep this under wraps. Like nobody can know like my acting like world domination plan.
I knew when I was like, I don't know, 6, maybe 7. Like I remember thinking that is what I want to do. And I didn't even go to university for acting because I literally could not. But then it's like, what secret? It's not like I was holding a secret, but I thought at the time, listen, it was the 90s. Okay. Exactly. So every woman on TV looked the same in my child eyes. They were all very thin and they were very pretty. And so I thought if I say I want to be an actor, that everyone's going to think I'm saying I'm really skinny and I'm beautiful. Like them. And I was like, I think it was that I couldn't bear to say it out loud and somebody say, you're not skinny enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not enough to be that, so give up. Because I thought I will shatter. Like I will give up, I think, if they tell me that right now.
Before you even try. Yeah, before you even get out there.
Yeah.
I can't see because the sun is in my face.
I was gonna say, you have this like spotlight, but I don't think it's like a metaphorical, but it's a literal one as well.
Okay, listen. We're gonna call Hisham and get him to fix the blinds.
Yeah. Okay. We're calling in the partner,
calling
also assistant.
Reinforcement.
Okay.
Hold on.
And we're back. We've fixed the blinds. Well, mostly just Chelsea has just perched in a very specific way.
Yes, I'm very lazy. I have a pillow fort table set up.
Yeah.
I can't just get up.
No.
Willy-nilly. Yeah.
No, you can't. So we've texted tech support and hopefully, AKA wonderful partner.
Yes.
And we're hoping wonderful.
Yes.
That he comes to save the day.
Yeah. I did put a please in the text.
Yeah. See, that helps. Always helps as long as he gets it. Yeah. Okay. I love that. Okay. So since you had never said it out loud to your family, was it a huge surprise when you chose to go to university for theater and film? I
think like when I started doing plays in high school and like musicals especially, they were like, oh, like you're pretty good at that. and I think I don't even know what I wanted to do, but I wanted to go to school for like a combination, like some kind of theatrical thing, but then like a backup of some kind, like a good old
Mm.
communications, which is
Right. Of course, totally.
so I did end up doing that. So I went to McMaster, and like I had applied lots of places, but then I didn't. I last minute I didn't want to go far away.
Mm.
So I ended up staying and doing a theater and film program. Oh, he's gonna fix it now. Sorry.
Oh, tech support came.
Ah,
Yes, dear.
oh,
We love
thank
you
you.
again.
Okay, he's smiling. He's not mad. It's
Okay,
all
good.
good.
Good. I
Okay.
love that it's like you're bedridden or something. Like you, like
Like
it's
he
so
came in
good.
like, and then I was like, oh.
It's like really,
Yeah. And then he's
but
like, oh well. Okay.
I'm the talent.
Yeah.
I need
Listen,
some assistance
I'm in my
today.
I'm in my talent bed.
Yeah,
Please
yeah.
help me.
Please help me. Help me.
He's gonna love that this is proof that I'm like, do this for me now.
Yeah, we now have it on recording.
I
He could just
know.
play it anytime. Listen, that's a dangerous piece of evidence to put in
It
his
is.
hands.
It
Yeah,
is.
that is dangerous. So, okay, so you went for theater and film, and then you
Yeah.
went for postgraduate at Humber, right?
Yes. So I kept trying to do like all these dramatic plays.
Yeah.
Uh and like literally the class would laugh. Like I tried to do Shakespeare, and like I was like Othello's or Othello, yeah. Othello, that's a restaurant. Okay. Oh Lord. Okay. I tried to play Othello's mom, and I was like, oh, Othello, and like the class was laughing, and I was like, what's going on? I was trying my best
Oh,
to do a
yeah.
dramatic piece, and then the professor was like, um, Chelsea, I think you would do best in comedic roles. And I was like, I agree, professor. Like I think, and people thought I was either trying to be funny on purpose, which I wasn't all the time. So yeah, so then I applied to Humber, and it was like the postgraduate one. So it's only 1 year, and it's a small group. And yeah, you had to comedy writing and performance, and you had to do write a monologue and then do an in-person characters and
Mm.
write a short story and write a spec script for the sitcom, and they only picked like 10 of us, and it was very
Oh,
elite.
wow.
Yeah, and I don't think that program exists anymore, the tiny one. So it was,
Wow.
and I think I was one of the only girls there.
Oh.
And yeah, and then it just, they exposed us to like, our teachers were like, they wrote for the Simpsons, or we had Billy Crystal came and talked to us, and Vivica A. Fox for some
Oh,
reason.
what? Oh my God. Well, yeah. And oh my God, I didn't. Okay. And also, I heard in an interview that you had Nathan Fielder in your
Yes,
class.
yes, Nathan.
Okay. So my partner and I have been binging the
Oh, the
rehearsal.
rehearsal.
Yes. Dying. We just watched
I
the
know.
finale the other day.
Oh
No,
my
I
gosh.
won't give any spoilers, but like, I mean, also it's a weird show to give spoilers, but
I
like,
know.
wow. Okay. So I have to ask, like, he, was he like that in real life?
Yes. Yes. In
That's just
in
him.
every way. Like
Oh, that makes me
he
so happy.
I know. Like he's very sweet, and he's shy, but
Yeah.
like, and he said like at the time, he's like, I'm gonna be famous. Like I'm gonna, like, but he would be like, I'm gonna be famous. And the teachers would be like, well, you have to write something, and he'd be like, no, it's fine. Like I'll just do this. And he
And
was
he was
so,
right.
yeah. And the teachers didn't like him very much
Oh,
because he just like had something they couldn't understand, but like we loved him and thought he was just hilarious. And I'm pretty sure his first job was writing for Canadian Idol.
oh my God, that's Nathan Fielder writing on Canadian Idol. I can't even
Yeah,
imagine that. That makes me so happy.
I know. And then he was, yeah. So he was like a great friend. Like he's still like, great guy, and like, but that style of comedy was, he was always like that, which makes it even
Wow.
better. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. And like, it's funny that you have these teachers. I mean, at the time, they have so much more power than you. And just
Yes.
like age wise, they seem so much more knowledgeable. And I mean, with experience and all those things. But what they say holds so much weight. And like,
I
you had
know.
another teacher telling you, listen, stay out of that lane. you're not the serious twin, you're the funny
Yeah.
twin. Like you're gonna do this. And even telling Nathan Fielder like that this isn't a thing. This
You'll
isn't gonna be.
never, yeah, they
Yeah.
said you'll never make it. A couple of them. One of them threw a chair at him one time. So these are like these people that comedic icons, teachers, like who work on all these shows with all these celebrities, but they also like were like saw one lane of comedy. Like
Yes.
they didn't really have a broad idea of like what could be.
Yeah.
Um, even though like there was one that really supported him and kind of compared him to Andy Kaufman a little bit,
Okay.
like
Like
as
just
far as like
offbeat and
yeah, an
like
absurd sort of.
right.
Um, but yeah, it was we had all kinds of people there, and I remember the first day, our teacher who he used to write on SNL, and he said to us, he was like, "Okay, who here is on antidepressants?" And then like a couple of people were like, me," and like raised
Me.
their hands, and then he was like, "Okay, well, if you're not, you should be," and we were like, "Okay." Like it was like he was basically introducing it like a lot of comedians have like inner pain.
Mental health
Yeah,
struggles. Yeah.
but and we were like, I don't know, like 21, 22, and actually we were all ages, but he was just like, let's get that out of the way. If you're here because you're like a genius who has like inner pain, like we're all like that, so don't worry about it. He was like, you're not unique, and like if you feel sad, let me know. Okay, now we're
This
gonna
is
talk.
such
Yeah.
a journey of like, I don't understand if he's trying to say, listen, it's okay, you're not alone, or like, hey, if you think that's what makes you special, get over it because it doesn't.
It was
I
kind
have
of both.
no idea. Okay, great, great.
Yeah, and so then yeah, and it was like kind of nice because I was like, oh, I always thought like that the fact that I was on antidepressants as a teen or whatever was like a bad thing. And he was like, nope, creative people are often depressed, and he was like, their brains are just too much. And
You're
I
like,
was like,
that's
yeah,
me.
I know, that's really nice.
Oh.
Yeah, and then we were all like, so it was just like it made us have our first little comedian like community, and
Mm-hmm.
it was really nice. I was like, oh, whereas like often theater people, the ones that I had experienced were
Mm.
very like, I don't know, guarded a little bit.
Mm.
So I was like, oh, we all kind of are suffering. Let's make jokes. And actually, one of the first things he made us do in our first writing class was we were supposed to write like weekend update type like late night jokes,
Mm.
and he said, everybody uh write 5 jokes about Hurricane Katrina. And we were like, he was like,
Okay.
it happened like a year ago, like everybody, we were like, it's not funny, and he was like, exactly, so try to make it funny. So he would always
Oh.
try to make us like take really painful things and like find a way to make it funny. So it was such like it was a mind fuck, but it was a, like trial by fire, which I liked a lot.
Yeah. He sounds like a mind fuck. Like when
Oh
you're
yeah.
explaining his delivery, I'm mildly like, I need to hide. And
I
what
know.
do I do? And then also I'm like, oh, I'm so glad that the delivery, the way that it like landed in you is that you felt less alone. Like it's
Yeah.
like it feels like it's a crap shoot.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is it? Crab?
Crapshoot. Because if you look at like me and Nathan Fielder, for
Yeah.
example, so like if we were given the same lessons and like if we couldn't be more different. So
Mm.
like he took that and went like the absurdist like route that he went, and like I am more of like a bubbly, chatty, talkative person, but it doesn't mean like our insides aren't the same or like
Right.
or similar,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're not both on antidepressants. He's
Yeah,
like, find your
essentially.
commonality, trauma bond quickly. Okay, great.
Yeah.
We're best friends. Let's move on. Write about Hurricane Katrina. And you're
It's
like,
so
what
true.
is
Yeah,
this class?
I know.
It sounds like an amazing boot camp that maybe also you have like a couple therapy sessions to
Oh
work
yeah.
through. Like
There
just a
was
little bit to understand what was
and
going on.
he would also show us like videos of like comedic legends, the stuff we maybe wouldn't have access to or we wouldn't know
Mm.
to see. And he would be like, try to find yourself in one of these. And like I I got to see a lot of Carol Burnett, which I hadn't seen. People
Mm.
like that, who's like I loved. He also made us put a clown nose on and go to the front of the class. And then everybody got to tell you or no, ask you questions about like what you're afraid of, and like while you wore the clown nose,
Oh my
it was like
gosh.
it was a mess, but I couldn't get enough of it. I loved it.
Oh, it's
Hmm.
amazing. It's like
Yeah.
borderline, like, is this a cult or is this
I
the best thing of
know.
my life? Like, oh my God,
Yeah,
I love that.
I know.
Wow. That sounds like such a, I mean, I'm sitting here being like, oh my God, I would have loved to have that experience. And just to get to go through even that like creation and
Yeah.
writer kind of boot camp. Well, and now, like, fast forward however many years, and
Yeah.
you write a whole solo show
Yeah.
all yourself, and for viewers and listeners I should say, so for this year's Toronto Fringe Festival, Chelsea wrote and performed in a solo show called the Chels Stands Alone. It was
Mhm.
incredible. Congratulations on
Oh,
an amazing show. It was so so good.
thank
um
you.
can you, just for like listeners and viewers who didn't get to see it yet,
Yes.
how would you sum up what the solo show was about?
So, um, this sounds bad, but like I often do not enjoy one person shows. I sometimes the ones I had seen were a little bit like either cheesy or pretentious or like self-indulgent, and it wasn't like for the audience, it was like just for them maybe. And I don't know if
Mm,
that's true or not, but I always enjoyed the ones that were like just felt more real.
mm,
And so I was always afraid to do it because I didn't want it to come across like I'm doing this because look at me,
mm.
like it, which is not at all my style of being a human. Like I like low self esteem, like Linda, like essentially.
So stupid.
Yeah, even though I am on stage all the time, yeah, there's obviously the dark side of it too. So I was like, I have a lot of comedy opportunities where I'm joining something else that exists,
Mm,
like joining Second City or working with other people and we write stuff together. And I was like, I want to write something all by myself. So basically the
mm,
show is like um it's a mixture of characters that are based on real life and some storytelling that is obviously based on real life, and just like little bits and pieces and songs that are kind of like the message of like if you're not okay, that's okay,
mm,
and if you are trying, that's like the important part.
mm.
So because I also don't like shows or messages or whatever that's out there that's like you must love yourself, like accept your flaws, mama, like all of that stuff.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like that's hard, and I am not in that place, so I can't put on a show being like here's all my flaws and I don't care. That's not real. I would
Mm,
rather say here's a bunch of flaws and a bunch of shit, but I'm trying to uh be on the other side of it, and that's pretty fun. And, and here's some funny aspects of that journey because everyone's kind of, I think, truthfully, probably in that spot.
mm-hmm.
That's what I'd hoped. I hope that people would watch it and be like, "Oh, me too," or "I've been through that," or I also hate this or hate that, and I'm not okay either, but I'm still like trucking along. And
Mm-hmm.
then it was kind of a hodgepodge. I had no idea how it would go, but a lot of people seem to like relate to it and and like the like casual, less like structured nature of it. And yeah.
Mm. Oh, it would, I mean, there were so many parts where honestly, Chelsea, I felt I resonated so hard. I felt so
Oh,
seen that like I was gonna, there's so many parts where I like, I mean, there's one monologue in particular where I fully was crying. I think the people that I was sitting with, I think most of us were like tearing up.
oh,
And so many parts where I wanted to scream like, "Me too." Like I just, I mean, and you talk about a lot of really vulnerable things in the show, and then somehow you make us all laugh out loud, which is just such a freaking gift. But so many things resonated, like you talked about abandonment was a big one,
hmm,
and I have a pretty deep fear of abandonment, let me just tell you, mostly with platonic relationships versus
yeah,
romantic, interestingly, but or interestingly, that's, I'm trying to say opposite wise, I
yeah,
guess. um but in your show, you talk about experiencing fear of abandonment after your husband of 12 years. Was it 12
yeah. I
years?
was with him for 12 years. Yeah,
12 years, like left. really abruptly, which is
Yeah.
just also he sounds like a dick.
Yeah, he sucks.
For all and in so many, not just the leaving, but so many areas.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But was the fear of abandonment something that you had before that experience with your ex-husband, or was that something new from that experience?
No, that was completely new. So I
Ugh.
and like the reason why I talked about it was because people often like think, oh, if you do a one person show, are you gonna talk about like your deepest, darkest issues? So uh so people that did know what I'd went through were like, oh, you're gonna talk about your divorce? And I was like, maybe,
Yeah,
but
maybe I
maybe,
will.
yeah, but maybe if I won't give it away, but in my own way, which makes it clear that like I'm not just dumping all this to be like trauma porn. I'm actually like trying to say like
Mm.
uh I can I can make fun of not make fun. I can like I want to share it, see if who can relate to it, but I also want to do it like in my way and to show you that like I'm okay at the same
Mm.
time. So there's a layer of humor as I talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna remount it at Comedy Bar because I won that a little Second City Best Comedy
Little,
Award.
not little.
Yeah,
Yes.
um, Best Comedy Award or whatever. So I will do it. I have to get the dates, but it'll be in October, and I'll hopefully get it soon. But yeah, so I never feared abandonment. I just like I met him so young, like I was
Mm.
17, and then um, yeah, he like and when you're that young, like if someone starts to slowly become like a terrible person to you and like be abusive to you, it's like it happens so slowly that you don't really notice. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
and especially if you don't tell anybody. I was just like, oh, like I guess I'm supposed to be treated like this. And then yeah, he literally left in the middle of the night and never talked to me again. I didn't know where he was. It was like just like gone. So there's that. And then there's the whole like he was a piece of shit and he made me stop performing. That was one of the things. So I started comedy and then I took a long like a few years break, and then to like rejoin the community was tough because there was I had to like reclimb sort of. So that
Mm.
was I I felt like behind, and that was the first thing I wanted to do when I was like free and
Mm.
realized like, whoa, he sucked. But like
Yeah.
12 years is so long. So it's
So long. It's hard,
oh
I would imagine, to even get to the place where you can be like, oh, he sucked. Like, even
oh
to
my
be
God.
able to feel that or say that, because, like you said, it's slow, it's gradual, it's like there's so many ideas and things that have just
Oh
like
yeah.
dug roots in
Yeah.
your head. And like, how do you? So I haven't had this experience with a partner of the abandonment, but I have had, when you shared that story, what I thought of right away was like, I had my I had a stepmom and like three stepsisters for like 12 or 14 years. I'm like, I'm doing an around because I'm like, oh God, is someone gonna, well, who's gonna fact check my life? Okay, it was like
Yeah.
12 or 14 years, whatever. And the youngest of my stepsisters was a year older than me. And she was like, best friend, looked up to her. She's the reason I got into
Yeah.
like singing and performing, like very close. And then basically, when my stepmom and my dad were going through troubles and gonna split, she reached out to me on Facebook because I lived with my mom and she lived with my dad and her mom. And she basically said, like, no matter what happens with our parents, like, we'll always be sisters. Like, obviously,
Yes.
since we were like 5 and 6, we were
It's like
sisters.
half your life. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like up until at that point, and I was a bridesmaid in her wedding, and she was gonna get married. She hadn't got married yet, and then my parents let us know that they're officially splitting, and I went on Facebook to be like, what is happening? I didn't have her, whatever. It wasn't texting and things though, it was like we were
Yeah.
Facebook messaging. And she had unfriended me, and I've never spoken to her since.
Oh,
And I think it made me realize I have multiple times in my life where like people who didn't really need to leave me, like it wasn't like a monogamous relationship where they choose one person. Like you can have
no.
multiple, whatever. I've had friends break up with me, and it really resonated when you said it, because it was just like, why would someone
The blind side.
choose just the gone, just the
Yeah.
absence of them completely?
It's
Like,
it's like a cowardly move. Like they
yeah.
don't know how to talk to you. And then like I yeah, that's my only guess. Or like
Mm-hmm.
eh, or they were given like information about you that wasn't true, but like to not give you the chance to like talk to you. And like for me, his family, ice, like nothing. and like he was my twin brother's best friend. Like
no. So did he
just
just like
gone.
ghost your brother as well? Like just
Everybody.
oh my
Yeah.
God.
And like I was supposed to be in the delivery room for his sister's baby like 2 days later, and they all like blocked my number. Like, and I thought he was kidnapped. I didn't even know where he was.
Of course you did, because you're a wonderful
Yeah,
person who gives people the benefit of the doubt. And you're like, there's no logical explanation
I
except
know.
that him and his entire family, inclling his pregnant sister, have all been kidnapped.
Yes.
Because
It
where
literally
did they
was like,
go?
yeah. And then obviously cheated on me with his student or something
I
like
thought you
that.
were going to say his sister.
Yeah. What a twist!
You started with obviously, and I was like, is that obvious? Like, I wasn't going to go there.
Sister wives, literally. Yeah.
Sister wives, yeah, exactly.
So yeah, there's so many like layers of like what. So it took me so long to like. So I think I jumped back into life before I was like fully ready. So I was like, I don't know what else to do. Like I can't just stay at my parents like hiding in the basement. Like I need to get out there. So when I wanted to do the show, I was like, well, like I want to talk about like I want to do characters that are like real people, but I also want to do like the journey of like being alone and like trying to see if you could stand on your own and be on your own and be like I don't know, like open and raw, because like also a lot of comedians like we kind of deflect like vulnerability a lot because it's a scary place to be. So and I've done that forever. I've constantly, you know, I ask how what about you? I ask like how are you doing and what are you up to? And I find ways to not talk about myself because I always think like nobody wants to really hear like cheerful Chelsea has like some shit.
Well, literally the beginning of this interview, you were just like doting compliments on me, and I was like, this is I don't even know Chelsea super well, but I'm like, this is she doesn't want to talk about herself right now. She's wanting to talk about anything else. Yeah.
Yeah, but even though those are all true, like I wouldn't.
No, I believe you. No, totally. No, it's like you want to be honest and truthful, and
yeah,
it's like anything but the spotlight on me, which is funny then that the sun was setting and just shining a
oh
spotlight right on your face.
It was
like,
cooking me. Yeah,
this conversation is about you.
I know. Like,
just accept it.
I literally couldn't escape the metaphor.
Yeah,
I was like,
you were like dodging the sun, like, please, no, I don't want the spotlight. Oh my God.
And then it's like, and then I go on stage and I'm like, da, 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 da. So it's like, it's such a weird dynamic. Yeah. So that's why, yeah, like I find that fascinating. And so when I went to Humber, yeah, that was like the first thing he like laid it all out. And then I was like, oh wow, like I'm fulfilling that prophecy right now.
Oh, and I'm sure, yeah, like you said, like jumping back into life. I mean, I wonder honestly, like I know you're saying it felt a little too early, and I wonder if it's something that would have always felt too early, maybe, or I don't know. I mean, how did you, like, I have a hard time with this. How do you kind of, or did you enter into new relationships or like old friendships that maybe you would kind of cut off for the few years? Like, how did you enter into it and allow yourself to like trust people again and stuff? Because that's such a blind side to have happened to somebody like so close to you.
Oh, I know. And like I say in the show, like I always had trouble like being myself with people because like I wanted to be like liked. I'm a people pleaser too, but like I wasn't as much as I am now. But now it's kind of like a defense mechanism. I want to be, I want to be liked even more than I have ever had because I've been left, and I had friends leave me completely after like 20 years of friendship because they were like, whoa, you're our friend because you make jokes and you're fun. What's this crying and like stuff?
Well,
like,
you're a fucking human. I didn't sign up for you to be a human. That makes me like, so angry for you.
Yeah. So it's like they can do that, but I can't. So I had, so it's like I lost so much. So there's so much, even the people in my life who I like probably shouldn't hang on to, like I still do because I'm just, it's like I can't lose anybody else. Like I can't, I forget your question, but
this answer was literal perfection. No, and it was just like, how do you, I mean, you kind of did like, how do you kind of learn to like trust people again? And honestly though, what you're saying, and my dog is choking in the background, but totally fine. She's like coughing up a hairball like a cat. In case anyone can hear and thinks like, Jesus Christ, what's happening over there? But I totally understand the like sort of desperate feeling of like the worst thing that could happen is if somebody leaves. And I don't care if they're like a shit person or they're giving me nothing. The leaving is the worst. And so you can end up just like sacrificing and compromising and sacrificing and compromising to the point where it's like, oh, I feel like a shell of a human being. I don't know if the worst thing is them leaving. Maybe this is the worst thing. Like, I don't know.
And you realize like, oh, I'm not being myself with anyone. Like I think I know it's scary. You think all these things and then you just go home and that's when you're like, oh my God, I didn't have fun today at all. Like, and you're just alone. So so when I jumped back in, dating, like I obviously was like, yeah, I'll do that. Sure, I'll go there. Whatever, fellas, plural, fellows.
Fellas, hi. I'm back like, on the market.
Sure, I'll be your friend, miss. I'll drive you 10 miles to this and that. Like I just, and I still have some of that, and some of it is real because like I am a nice gal, but some of it I was just like I just wanted to please everyone, and I think I'm settled into myself a little bit now, but who knows how some of it may never go away. I don't know. But there were people that I knew in the comedy community before that were still around when I returned. I was like, oh yeah, my last name is Larkin again. Number one.
Update number one.
Yeah. Number two, I'm back, baby. So like put me on your show. Yeah.
I'm back.
Fellas. Yeah.
Fellas, I'm back. No, and that always helps. Well, and it's interesting too that like coming back into it, because another thing you mentioned in the show that literally like I wanted to throw up from being seen so hard, and I was like, I hate that I feel this way too, is you talk about how when you felt like you were such a fearless kid and you would like do whatever, and then now feeling like you're literally afraid of everything. And genuinely I almost cried, and I think my body held it back because I didn't want anyone thinking I also felt that way. Like, it was like, I'm also afraid of, like, what kind of things now are you afraid of, or were you like coming back into the comedy community that you didn't used to be afraid of?
So a lot of it was like because I'm like, it sounds crazy to blame it on one person, but like I literally spent every minute with my ex. So he took away so much like freedom from me, things like, cooking, like, so I would like when I returned to the world, I was like, I want to cook this meat, but I've been told that I'm gonna burn the meat and I'm bad at meat cooking. So I'm scared to use this stove. I'm scared to use this oven. Like, or I have to drive like on several different highways, and like he wouldn't let me drive. So like I gotta like rip off the band-aid and start driving places. Even like technology stuff. Like I used to be a legal assistant. Like I did tons of stuff, and like even setting up this like Zoom thing, I was like, oh, like you doubt yourself because you've been told that you can't do it. So then you stop trying for a little bit. And like when I was a kid, I spent a lot of time alone. Like my parents like are great, but they worked a ton. And I just, I did all kinds of things by myself. I was fearless. I wasn't scared to try. I wasn't scared to fail. I just like kept going with my mushroom cut and glasses. Like I just rocked it. I rocked the world. Looking like Sally Jesse Raphael, if anyone remembers her. So, So and then now it's like little things like all like adult type tasks, or like if I get like a lot of like documents sent to me or something, contract or something. Like I used to make contracts when I worked at the law firm, but right now I'm like, oh my God, this is so much. Like I've been told, but I'm not smart enough to understand something like this. So it's hard to like, even though it's been like years, it's hard to like get it out of your head. So, but it's so strange because like comedy is such a fearless thing. So it's like I don't know how those things coexist in my brain. But so the Fringe show I did, it was like I made sure to like only play like a character like half the time, and then like I had to be myself the rest of the time. That was like why it was scary, and I chose Stacey McGonigal as my director partly because she knew me before I left the community. So it was like she knew like kind of what I used to be like. She knows like the transition, and she's kind of she's tough. So I needed someone like super tough. be like, like in a good way. So yeah, but I didn't. I was super scared because I was like, I don't know if everyone here in the audience has their life together, but
No, literally nobody.
maybe not. Yeah,
Or I think it's nobody feels like they do, you know?
yeah,
Or if they feel like they do, they're just, I think, sitting in the fear that it's going to all fall apart. Like, I think you either feel like you don't have it together or you feel like you have it together and you're terrified
yeah,
of losing it, which really
yeah,
sucks. It would be wonderful if we could live somewhere in the middle or just elsewhere.
exactly. And it seems like it's every career. Sorry, I just burped like in my sternum, but not in my throat.
And you're like, I have to acknowledge this in case the
Listen,
mic picked it up.
yeah, it sounded
We
like a
got to.
weird person going help, but it was like,
Oh,
it's
so
like,
many metaphors happening right now,
oh my
Chelsea.
god,
Your heart is like, help,
help me,
help
help,
me.
stop talking, lady. Like,
You're like, no, you're okay. Listen,
yeah,
it's
you're
fine.
doing
I'm
fine.
not the bad twin. It's okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
And my twin is my best friend, which is so funny. And like watching the show, he was like, "Oh," I was like, "Did you know some of that?" He's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Did you know all of it?" He's like, "No." So I was like, "Are you fine with it?" He's like, "Yeah." So
I love when
pretty
you do
much.
your brother. So good. Oh my god. Oh my god. No, I mean it would be, I think, scarier to like be yourself
Mhm.
on stage. I'm literally like, oh, I am terrified of everything now, and I've been trying to figure out like what the point of no return has been. Like I can identify a few. One of them was like one thing that terrifies me now that I used to be so fearless is improv.
Oh,
I I used to be, it was never about being good. It just felt so good in my soul. And I think as soon as I started feeling like, it wasn't even like I started thinking I was good, as soon as I got feedback from other people that I was good, even
yeah.
like it could have been a random fucking Tuesday that I was good. Maybe I sucked otherwise. But like as soon as people said it, I was like, oh my God, expectation. Now I have to fulfill other people's dreams. Like this is not, I hate this now. Or not I hate
Yeah.
this, but it was so hard to
It's
still
like,
have the
oh,
fun in that way.
people are paying attention. Like, oh no, like, yeah,
Yeah. People want something out of me when I'm doing this thing that was just for myself. And I see people pushing through that and just reclaiming it for themselves anyway. And I have
yep,
such a hard time. I'm afraid of failure. I'm afraid of what people think. I'm afraid of like looking silly, looking
oh
stupid, and
yeah.
all these things. It's like, just go out and do the thing. Who
I know.
cares? But
It's
I
like
don't.
you put the stakes on yourself,
Yes,
but they still
yes.
feel sky high. Like,
Yeah, they feel so real, and it really like drives me nuts because it is completely in my control, and yet I feel totally powerless
yeah.
against it. Like,
And it's like
yeah,
once you get up there and do it, you'll probably be like, oh, that wasn't so bad. But it's like it's the before part,
yes,
and yeah, and it's like it's still like an audience and a stage, and I feel like that about certain things, like
mm-hmm,
um, but my fears have more shifted to like real everyday life stuff.
mm-hmm,
But like, and then I've been trying to do like I find stand up is terrifying
mm,
because you have to be yourself most of the time. Like you
mm.
can't be like, hello, like these are my jokes. Well, I guess you, it's always a British man for
I love
some
it
reason.
so much. Or it's your brother. You go between the two. I love it so
Those are the
much.
two.
Anyone
But
watching, this is such a gift. Like if you're listening right now, I really, really like encourage you to click on. Ew, this sounds gross, but it's from a genuine place. Click on the video link and watch
yeah,
this because, well, you're an actor. I'm not
yeah.
surprised, you know?
Uh, and
Not surprised,
I
yeah.
I
So
thought you were
stand
gonna
up. Oh,
say
yeah.
I thought you were gonna say like and subscribe because like so
Like and subscribe.
my niece is 6 and she's been watching like she watches like those videos of like
Yes.
kids unboxing stuff. They're very popular.
Oh.
And I don't know, during the pandemic, like it was like a way to get her to go poo. Like she would just like she'd get to look on her little iPad of like these kids, like I guess mostly in Japan, unboxing. So the gift wouldn't matter. It was just the process of unwrapping things.
Perfect. Perfect.
And then she was walking around being like, okay, bye, Auntie. See you tomorrow. Like and subscribe. And I was like, what? Like she was just saying it loose, like to
Oh.
to her like classmates and her teachers. She was like, like, Miss, can I go to the bathroom, like and subscribe? Like,
Oh, it's just a thing. It's
I
so
know.
strange. Actually, my cousin's little girl, who is like 3, she was making a video to say hi, and in it she said, subscribe below. And I was like, what is going
I
on?
know.
It's like, I wonder what the equivalent was for us. You know, it was the 80s, it was the 90s.
Yeah.
Like, what were we saying where our parents were like, what?
I don't know. Like,
I know.
yeah, we had
What happened to us?
Yeah, we didn't really have any like real things. It was always
No.
like people playing characters, like Saved by the Bell. It was a lot of like,
Yeah.
I wish I had a locker. I don't think that counts. But I would pretend to like slam a locker to my parents.
The locker.
Like,
Yeah, totally.
There was no locker to slam.
I always wanted one of those lockers where the lock was like in the locker.
Oh yeah.
Because that was all over TV. And I'm like, why do I have to buy my mom? Why do I have to go to
Yeah.
Staples and buy my own lock and bring it? Like, it's supposed to be in the locker. Yeah.
I could never open a number lock, like ever. Like, I had to do a key. And of course I lost that damn key. Like,
Well, you're a kid.
yeah.
Where's that key supposed to go?
And also, like, as a teen, my flare jeans were just too tight. Like, I couldn't fit a key in there in the pocket.
I blame the patriarchy because women's jeans have bullshit pockets. If we have at all, especially on the front, there's nothing. When I see my partner shove his wallet into his pocket,
phone,
it's like fucking Mary Poppins. I'm like, what the fuck is that pocket? Like, what are you gonna, do you have a child in there? Like, how much can you fit in there? I'm like, I have the smallest version of my wallet. Sometimes I can't even fit the length of my lipstick in a pocket. And it's like.
And if you sit down, heaven help you. Heaven help.
Heaven help you. You're not, then it's pushing into your, literally, I couldn't think of what organ
I
was there.
I was gonna say cooch, but that's not an organ.
Sure, it could push into your cooch.
Yeah, it could, or like a liver or two. I was gonna say
liver or two. Listen, that's another thing from your show. When I'm like, when you said you would just pretend that you know when people are talking, I'm like, oh my god, 100%. Literally, so much that in my Second City Conservatory class, the director was like, we're making that a sketch. You're gonna go up and you're gonna ask somebody in the audience like who's an expert in something, and they're gonna come up and you have to explain it, because I had such a fear of people thinking I'm stupid and I don't know. So there are so many things that I should know that I do not know, that I could just Google, like, but I don't.
But then it like goes too long, and if you don't ask, then you're like, uh-oh, now it's been a while and I don't really know what climate change is.
Yes, and I should know. And like,
by this point, we
have the internet, but the worry, I think, for me is like, but I don't even trust my capability in researching it, because I'm gonna, and I have to like, also there's gonna be so many sources. What if I read like the Onion article of it, and I'm like, well, fuck, didn't know that wasn't the real factual.
Yeah, and you go around spreading that at dinner parties.
Oh, the worst.
All the dinner parties.
All the dinner parties that I go to. I was listening to a podcast today where they were like, I don't like getting wasted, but I like a dinner party. And I thought, like, when the fuck was the last time I was invited to a dinner party?
Yeah. I like a good old, like, a games and meat and chips.
Fun. Oh, I love chips. That's our version. Games and chips.
Yeah, that's
I
would
party. Love 100%. I mean, I would love to go to a dinner. If anyone's having a dinner party, invite us. I would love to go.
But we're not gonna clean.
No, I'm not gonna cook. I'm not gonna clean. I'll bring a bottle of wine and I will. Yeah, I don't want to clean up dishes. Oh, so like, what am I going to? Like, I'm a jerk.
Well, I feel like if they're hosting in the old days, in the 90s, you would not.
In the 90s, they would do it all.
Yeah.
So
and
true.
Like, I'll bring a chips, but like they're gonna be chips I want.
100%. I have a friend who loves loves chips, and when we like hang out with friends or whatever, we'll each bring a couple snacks. She will literally bring snacks for everyone, but then she brings one maybe not family size, maybe I don't know, full size bag of chips, and no one else is allowed to eat it. Like, she just sits there and eats it, and I'm like, you know what, you are like, you're holding down who you are. You're not changing for anybody. I appreciate it.
And like, I say all this now, like, in the comfort of my little home on Zoom, but like, if I were at a dinner party, I'd be like, sure, I'll serve the pig, or like, I'll clean this up. Like, I'll
kill the pig.
Person. I'll find a pig.
I'll find a pig. Do you want to eat my arm for dinner? Like, I know. You know what I do is, like, I feel like we have to help, and then anyone who's not offering to help, I start
Oh,
like judging them harshly because I'm resentful that they can just relax and I can't.
yes.
And then it's not fun. We need a
And
catered event is what we
yes,
need.
yes. People
Yeah.
paid. Oh
Paid
my God,
well.
I
Yeah.
used to do catering too. But I would not prepare the food. I would just walk around with a tray.
Right.
That was,
Yes, yes.
and like, but then the cleanup after was really gross. Yeah, it's
Oh.
not ideal.
No, and now we're out of that. Thank God.
Yes.
We're gone. We're gone. We're gone. I quit serving in the last like year or two, and I was like, in the year or two, I think it was this year. I don't
Yeah,
know. The last couple of years are all very
I
similar to
know,
me.
a blur.
But I quit with not like a huge plan of what to do, and it felt really great. And like honestly, I dragged it. I mean, I drag everything out. Like if I'm like this relationship's over, I'll break up in 2 years. Like
Yeah,
it's just forever. Um, but I also stayed because I just loved the people. But I was
I know.
so
Yeah.
ready to get out of the service industry. I think everyone who eats at a restaurant should have to work at a restaurant, even for
Oh,
like a week,
absolutely.
just to
Uh,
see. Like,
it's just like oh my gosh. I used to work at many restaurants,
mm-hmm.
and the worst, I worked at I can say it 'cause I'll never work there again. It was a
A
Firkin pub.
firkin.
And and I had like people throw chicken bones, like finished chicken bones at me because I was like the only server on, and I was racing around. They're like, "Miss, I'm done. I'm done." I said I'm done, and they whipped the chicken bone on my head.
Who are
And
these human
I know.
beings?
Oh, they're from Oakville. And then literally it was like the cusp of Oakville, Mississauga. And they pulled my ponytail. Mm,
No.
yeah. And there was this family that used to come every Sunday at 4:58 p.m. and kids ate free before 5 o'clock.
Ugh.
And they had 5 kids, and they would
Ugh.
order 5 big meals, and the parents wouldn't order anything. So then they would just eat the kids' meal. Then they wouldn't tip
Oh my
anything,
God.
and they would leave like an explosion mess of like chicken fingers and shit everywhere. And I'd be like, well, it's almost 5, and they'd be like, no, we got here at 4:58. I was like, oh, and they did it every week. It was so bad.
And then they didn't
Yeah,
even tip. So literally you're
no,
like paying to serve them.
yeah. And then I stopped. We just put them in like a side room and just closed the door.
We just put them in a closet and we
Yeah,
just gave them all the leftover food and we just said, you just eat as much as you want.
yeah.
I
Here's
mean,
a bowl of lettuce. Like, go
oh
to
my
town.
God. And everyone just like draws straws of who has to serve them. There's
Yeah,
been some pretty, yeah. I feel like even understanding tipping, which like before I got into the service industry, I didn't really get it. Like,
yeah.
and I was gonna be like, and maybe I don't get it now. It is something that I feel like I have a pretty good grasp on
Yeah.
now after working in the service industry, but it's like I think people don't really get that here the food price is low and servers are paid below minimum wage
Yes.
because everyone's assuming you're going to tip. Like when you go out, if you can't afford the meal plus the tip, then you can't afford the meal. Like it's
Exactly. That's
included.
part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's not like a reward for
No,
good service. You can tip more, but you need to tip. I don't even know how we got on this rant of
I
tipping, but just tip.
yeah, I was just gonna say like that was one of the things I cut from my show for life.
Oh,
Like
no
from like
way.
it was all the ways I had left jobs or like or been fired. And one of them was a restaurant where I apparently didn't pick up the seagull feathers off the patio quick enough.
Oh my God, quick enough. I was on your side even if it wasn't at all. And you're
Yeah.
saying just quick enough.
So the manager was like, Chelsea, like there's more feathers on the patio. And I was like, yeah, I'm serving tables. Like, I'm sorry, they keep appearing. And he was like, oh, they keep appearing. What are they falling from the sky? I was like, yes,
Yeah, they're
the birds are
fucking
up there.
bird
Yeah.
feathers. Oh
Yes,
my God.
birds are in the sky. So then he was like, that's it. You're right. I was like,
Stop.
yeah, that was, and then so there was lots of one restaurant I was training, and a girl was like, oh, can you just get your pen? Like, and it was like a 21-year-old, like teaching me how to like marry the ketchups or whatever. And
I love when the trainer is like, could be your child. And
I
you're
know.
like, God, I have sunk so low right
exactly. And then so I guess I left my pen at the other register. So then the next day before I come in for training, she calls me and she was like, Chelsea, we need to talk about like the pen incident from yesterday.
now. Pen
I
incident.
was like, what? And keep in mind, like people listening, I'm a pushover, people pleaser. Like for me to stand up for myself takes a lot. And she was like, "You like Chelsea, you like didn't have a pen, and like if you're gonna work here, like you really need a pen." Like it was really unprofessional. And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like I was so mad. I was like, "I had a pen, Elise. It was on the other register. Like I lost it." And I said something awful to her and I hung up, and I was like shaking. Like I yeah, there's certain restaurants like they push you to the edge.
Yeah, they really do. They really do. God, that feels cathartic even just hearing you. Because I think
Oh,
of, there are a few moments where I like really let them have it when they deserve to have it. And then there are those few moments where
I know.
I'm like, God, I wish I could go back and just, like
I
I
had plenty
had,
of those too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Those are the moments that live in you where you're like, I swear to God, like do that again. And I've
Yes.
practiced in front of the mirror.
Yes.
I've practiced with my role played with my therapist. I'm so
Yeah.
fucking ready to have a cool comeback that would be on like a sitcom in the 90s. I'm ready.
I used to
Ugh.
when I was a kid, I would play the song from The Lion King, like "Be Prepared," and I would lip sync it and look in the mirror and pretend I was talking to my teacher, and I'd be like, "Be prepared." Like, you better be ready, like Mrs. Finkelstein. Like,
Was it like be prepared for my wrath or like I'm
yeah,
gonna prove you wrong? Like what
all,
was
all of it. I was
all of
just,
it?
and I would dream that I would like come in and be like, "Excuse me, like I have a presentation," and like I'd be like, "You think my twin's better than me? Well, listen to this," and then I would play like, dun, 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 and then I would just be like, be prepared for what? I wasn't really sure,
Yeah, but
but
you
I
knew it in your soul.
felt
Like you couldn't articulate it, but it was like
yeah, it was
feeling
gonna
was
scare
there.
her. It was gonna
Yeah.
scare everybody, and I would get respect.
Oh, you get
So
respect.
we need an
Yes.
equivalent of that for adulthood.
Oh, listen, I feel like there's been times where I've thought, you know what, like, even when I'll get comments from, I don't know, after an audition or something, where it's like one I had was for the character, it was like, think Selma Hayek but less pretty, or like she's thick but cute, or like what was the
Yeah.
one was like she'll never be the lead but she'll be the fun best friend, and I just
Oh,
think
always.
you just watch until I create my own show and I'm show running and all my
Yeah.
awesome like fellow artists who you said bad things about but are talented are like on the
Yeah.
show. And then the really sad thing, I know I'm about to sound so depressed, but the really sad thing is I'm like, well, can't do that yet. That sucks.
I know, but
Can't have that moment yet. Would be great.
be prepared. Yeah. It's gonna
Oh my God, I feel like you might have just started something. Like
Listen.
1,000% next time I will be thinking of this Lion
Yes.
King song, and I feel like other people, you're probably going to be getting DMs, like messages like, oh
Yeah.
my God, I sang Be Prepared today. It made me
Yeah,
feel
like,
amazing.
I skulked into my office and quit my
Yeah.
job. Like, it's all your fault. I'm like, sorry. Like, I was just giving you some advice. You didn't need to take it. Yeah.
I blew up my life. Also, you did a great, when you said skulk, you did like
Oh.
all I could see was your shoulders.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's Scar's shoulders. Like, I see.
Oh, yeah.
Scar sings that song, right? Is that
Yes.
Scar? Okay, fabulous. Love him so much.
Yeah.
Love him. Listen, hated him as a kid. Now I'm like, listen, misunderstood. I get it.
Yeah.
He was told he was the bad brother.
I know.
Oh.
Am I Scar? I might be.
No,
That-
he is the Chelsea. You
Yeah.
are the OG. No, also
Yeah.
you're all of the the thing is we are all of the lions. I have had hardly any cider and I'm literally sweating and I keep thinking my nose is running and then I go to wipe it and there's nothing there. I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe it's just I'm sweating.
Oh, I'm sweating too. Yeah.
I'm
But
like,
I'm always sweating. That's just a thing because of my hair.
Cuz I'm not
Yeah.
sweating cuz I love I want I want
Ah.
volume and like texture. Mine's
I
just
was-
like
I was looking at your slick head, and I was thinking that I love your slickness.
slick head. Honestly, but this is the thing. Okay, well, first of all, we all know grass is always greener. Like this is a perfect example. And I wish that the straight, like slicked head look was more of a choice, because I actually, who was it? I think it was Coco Galore who, I'm gonna reference this wrong. It was her, but I can't remember what she said. But after a show one time, she asked me like, do you always straighten your hair like that? Like she was just genuinely wondering, because she's like, it's so straight. Or maybe she said, is your hair naturally that straight or something? And I was like, No, literally, this is air dry, and I would love to put a curl, but I actually found out one time in casting, somebody told me that because it looks like I've put effort into it,
Yes.
a lot of the time it makes me not seem like casual, chill girl. So now I've tried to put some like wave or something in it so they think I'm just like, hey, let me sip a Tim Hortons or let me eat a Big Mac. I'm your best friend. I'm not the... But some people straighten their hair. Listen, it was the 90s. In the 90s, everyone loved the straight hair. There was no issue. And now...
I know. Now it's like, well, I am too much on effort. Like, my hair's too wild. People are like, whoa, lady, like, put some effort into your audition.
Lady. Anytime you post like outtakes or whatever from your self-tapes or like the one that you just posted where you're like, well, I'm bleeding now. Like, so funny. I'm always like, holy fuck, she looks gorgeous. Like your hair, like the light is perfect on your face. You look wonderful in the self-tapes that I've seen on your Instagram.
Well, like, but again, the roles are for like 40-year-old woman, like, who isn't doing good, like, and I'm like, and then it's like no speaking and like no eyes or something, like, it's just like
no eyes,
face optional. I'm like, oh god,
face optional. You're like, oh wow, my agent knows me so well. Here I go.
Yeah, it's like all over the map. Like, and like, can't it just be like a gal having a time?
A gal having a life.
35-year-old gal having a time. Like,
having a time.
Why does it need to be? If you're like, for me, if you're at all like not thin, the breakdowns are pretty brutal. And I don't mind like auditioning for that, because like I am on the bigger side of women, I guess. But like,
I guess it's like
I don't know.
I don't know.
But like you said, it's always like, it's like quirky friend, or give me a quirky friend or quirky secretary.
Sure.
Right
quirky
now,
secretary.
Right now I'm getting like stocky guard, like no, like face not seen. I'm like, oh,
faceless stocky guard. Oh my god. No, it is in the wording. Like even it was like thick but sexy was what it was. And I was like, why isn't it thick?
Explicit. Yeah.
Why can't it be thick and sexy? I don't understand the butt. What is the function of the butt? You need to go away and unlearn some fat phobia, people, because that butt should not be there. It can be, I know. Like, I understand if the physical appearance of a character is integral to the character. And mind you, this was not a commercial. So there's some commercial auditions where I'm like, that's not integral to your character there. But it is, but yeah, the wording sometimes is like, this is brutal. This doesn't make me necessarily want to, I don't know, it makes me worried about who I would be working with if I'm booking it sometimes.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, you feel like you have like a strike against you before you even like make the tape, like make the audition. So, and like, I feel like in person, I preferred it a bit more because like I could sell it. So they're like, oh, like that chubby person does have a face.
I almost just peed a little. Oh my god, that chubby person has a face.
Oh my god, the face.
I've never noticed. Like, I've never noticed. Chubby people have faces before. Have you seen faces?
Yeah, like, write this down.
Write this down. Put it in the commercial. Put it in the copy. Maybe we show their face.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So, but yeah, and like my boyfriend has the same issue. Like, he gets a lot of like, he's a bigger guy. He gets a lot of like, like big man goes to store possibly with child. Like,
it's just so, I thought you were gonna say like big boy goes. Oh yeah. But yeah, big large man approaches store possibly with a minor, and you're like, what am I supposed to pull from this? And then it's always diversity encouraged, and you're like, what character am I going for here?
There was a brutal one, and my partner is black, and the thing said, it was like big man, comma, definite loser type, comma, black, okay.
Black, okay, that's even worse than black. I was waiting for the Wait.
Black okay.
Big.
So
Hold on.
it was, and he was like, God damn it. So he was like, I'm only doing one take of this.
Yeah. They get one take.
Yeah.
I will not stoop to their level to give them 2 takes. Oh my God. What was it? I'm so sorry to make you repeat.
Oh no, it was like big man, comma,
big man,
definite loser type. It was like, comma,
Black. Okay. Oh my God, it's so good. Oh my God, it's
and
so
he's just like,
good.
so I guess, like, and he's new to acting. He's a stand-up comic, so yeah. So he's like, are they all like this? And like, a lot of them are, and it's hard not to take it personally, especially at the beginning.
Yeah.
And he was like, and then he was joking around doing like his beginning where he says his name and and then he was saying like black okay and like
definitely a loser and black okay thumbs up. Oh my God. Yeah, it doesn't like instill a lot of confidence if you're like, oh, some of my first self tapes.
Yeah, you're going in like that.
Oh my God,
are
this? No, it's not fun. It's not. Oh my God, that's so funny. Now I'm for sure sweating.
Me too.
Oh my God.
And it's kind of like, but it does encourage, it encourages me or him or whoever to, write our own stuff because like, we have that capability too. Some actors aren't writers, but often comedy folks are, and like it's we can try to get out there more and write our own content, and it's like you get a surge of motivation, like I'm gonna make my own show and it's gonna be called like Black Definitely Okay, and like
definitely loser type, definitely black. That's gonna be my show.
Yeah, and his girlfriend has a face, and like that's the name of the show. Like,
and her friend is thick and sexy and looks like Selma Hayek, not less pretty, just like her.
And her hair is naturally slick and we love it. Yeah.
Is painted onto her head and she loves it that way. And everyone thinks it's awesome. Yeah.
And it's a musical, okay?
And it's a musical and it's just beep, beep, the whole time. We'll get the rights from Disney. It'll be fine. We'll get the rights. Oh my God. No, you're right. I mean, it really does. Like, I feel like I started creating stuff out of necessity, not even out of choice. I probably would have eventually chosen it, but like I found my way in necessity for sure. And I know, like, I guess like I'm thinking, okay, so you create the show, you perform it, all the nerves and the like relief and the pride, like all of the feelings. And then you're talking about how you're not good with getting compliments. I mean, maybe it's helpful that we're getting these breakdowns that are like stocky guard with no face. You're like, sure, if they gave you like beautiful, intelligent twin, you're like, I don't know, I can't.
I know. I'm like,
I don't know if I can do that. But like, how do you, I guess, because your show totally deservedly, I think that's a word, totally deserved to get a ton of great reviews, which it did. I read the reviews. They were fucking beautiful.
Yes, I was so surprised. Honestly, it was so lovely.
I was not surprised in the least. I was not surprised. And first of all, some of those critics, reviewers are really great writers, which like they were one. Oh my God. One, I was like, I almost emailed it to you and I was like, Chelsea has read this. Like, I don't need to email it to you. It was beautiful. But how do you, like, being somebody who it's hard to be in the spotlight off stage and like take compliments, how do you approach reading reviews about yourself? Do you read them? Like, can you absorb them?
So I was new to the Fringe, like the producing side and actually all of it. So I didn't really know that like you're supposed to like invite a bunch of media and reviewers like early. So I did it like probably too late. So I didn't really have anyone set up to come. And then I was kind of like, well, that's fine. Because like, it's my first try. I don't know what's going to be like. But then people started coming and like really liking it. And then I had some lovely friends tweet at like Now Mint Magazine and Glen Keely and people like that and being like, you should see this show. And I was like, oh shucks, like I guess. And then some nice people came in. I was really scared to read it because I thought that actually I was ready for it to be negative. So when it was not, I was pleasantly surprised. But I think it's like sometimes I think like I already think all those negative things in my head. So if somebody tells me, I'm like, yeah, I know, like
old news.
Yeah, whatever. I already
told myself that last week. Please, tell me something I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm fantastic. Didn't know that. Like,
now I'm listening.
Great.
Like,
now, yeah. Oh,
but if they were gonna say like, oh, it's too much or silly or like, that kind of thing, I would have been like, I know, like, or like that stocky guard like shouldn't have done that or so.
Too much face in
Yeah,
this. She should
yeah,
have less face.
yeah. I would have been
Uh,
like, that doesn't surprise me, and it was almost harder to read like good things because I was like, they're
mm.
lying, like they feel pity for me or something.
Oh,
You find ways in your head to like make it not true.
yeah.
Um,
Well, it's scary
yeah,
to like absorb it, and because I think if you take the compliment and you let it sit in you and make you feel good, then you have something to lose if you find out
yes,
jokes on you. It's like a Carrie moment. Like you think everything's great and then they dump blood or pigs
yes,
blood on you, I think.
yeah,
Yeah, so I can understand like it's kind of alluring or like attractive to stay on the defense rather than allow yourself to be happy and enjoy it, and
yes.
it sucks. Like
Yeah, I think I read them like once and I was like,
yeah.
okay, good. But like then I see other people who are like posting the reviews
Mhm.
and really like advertising themselves. And I still didn't really do that. So I'm still learning to, I guess that's part of the game, or like
Mm.
you can't just be have a good show. You need to like use the momentum for something. But maybe it's too late, or maybe I will. I I just
5 years from now, let's just post
yeah.
it. It's
Hey
a
guys.
weird kind of like entanglement sort of like, okay, so I should use the momentum and like people, can it just be a good show and I let other people spread the word, or does it need to be a good show and then I need to tell people that other people thought it was a good
Uh-huh.
show? It's like it's a mind fuck for sure. And you
Yeah,
just want to be able to do the thing and enjoy
I
it
know.
and then do the next thing, and
Yeah.
it's
That was
hard.
scary. It
Yeah.
was scary enough. So
Yeah.
if I do it again, I'll know more of like the game of advertising yourself and like
Mm.
um invite the right people rather than just like, please, like cousin from Orangeville, come, like if you can. Like for example.
Please,
Yeah.
somebody. No,
Please, sirs.
totally.
Yeah.
Please, sirs. Just come in, little
Another
Oliver.
British.
Please, sir. Yeah. Yeah. Well, listen, it was
Yeah.
either going to be your brother begging or it was going to be somebody British. We had to, a British orphan
Yeah.
worked perfectly for the bit. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And you did, like, I'm going to mention here, like, you won the Comedy Bar and Second City Award for Outstanding
Yes.
Comedy. Holy
Yes.
crap. And then also you won the Theatre Orangeville's Best of Fringe and got to, like, remount the show at Theatre Orangeville Summer
Yes.
Arts Festival. What was it like having, like, so you did Fringe, performed it all, read the reviews, probably
Yeah.
didn't let them sink in, had a little break, and then you got to remount it. How was it different doing it the second time than the first time?
I think like I was less nervous
Mm-hmm.
and it felt less scary to like do personal content for an audience that you know nobody in it.
Yes, except for like the
Um
cousin in Orangeville. Yeah,
yes,
yeah, yeah.
yes.
Totally, totally.
Who did not
Who
come.
did?
Yeah,
Their reserved seat was empty for the entire show.
exactly.
Perfect.
Um yeah, so I was just like, well, if this doesn't land or if they think I'm weird or whatever, like the stakes, it doesn't affect me as much. It's not like
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of shows where I knew nobody in the audience in Toronto in the Fringe run in Toronto, but I definitely worried that when I walked out, people would be like, "Ooh, we know some things about you, and you've been through some things. Like, are you okay, lady?" Like things like that.
Mm,
I always
yeah.
say, "Are you okay, lady?" Because one time, like a few years ago, I fell as I was crossing the street,
Oh
and I was
no.
holding a bunch of stuff, and I like face planted like in the middle of a crosswalk. And then I heard like a couple of teens being like, "Are you okay, lady?" And I was like, "Yes, get away from me!"
The
So
only thing more embarrassing and shameful than falling and face planting is you asking me with your like puberty breaking
yeah,
voice if I'm okay, lady.
are you okay?
Are you okay, lady? You sounded like
Yeah,
that guy from The Simpsons, I think,
yeah,
who has this, oh my God, the slicked hair.
exactly.
He's my
Yes,
brother.
it's come
Yeah.
full circle.
Full
Oh, yeah.
circle. Full circle. Simpsons. Oh wow, we're just calling back all the different
I
things. Oh my
know.
God. No, totally. I even remember when you walked out after your show and I had all these thoughts in my head like, oh my God, I want to tell her how amazing it was. Okay, it's not about you. Just congratulate her. Also, if I was her, I'd be like, holy fuck, these people know a bunch of things about me now
Hmm. Hmm.
intimately that I didn't know. And I wanted to be like, listen, thank you for sharing. Like, you
Yes.
want to say so many things. And it's, I mean, already I find like after a show, I don't really want to talk about the show with anyone because it's like most of the time people are just going to say, oh, you did such a good job. And it's just
Yes.
like literally I'm pulling my sleeves down again and I'm sweating again. Like it's uncomfortable. And they're just trying to be wonderful to you. And I feel like a dick being like, so what are you doing? Like, let's talk about dinner plans. Like, let's get away from the show.
But it meant so much that like people would stay after and talk to me. And like I found like it was easier to see like other performers that came to watch rather than like random people that I grew up with, like that I don't even know how they found the show or me. But they came and I was like, oh yikes, like Adam's here, like what the hell. Yeah. He knows a lot of stuff. But it got easier, and then like it's still like people are still talking to me about it. It's only been a month, so it's been really nice. Yeah, I still feel a little strange, but I think that will go away over time. But I did like doing it in another city where I knew nobody.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For honestly, for anything like stand up, improv, like anything, I feel like a different person when it's strangers, and it could be 100 strangers versus like 10 people I know, and I'd rather 100 strangers. 100%. Yeah. Feels more vulnerable and intimate, and I think you start almost like act like while you're for me at least, I think while I'm performing, if I know the people in the audience, I start almost like subconsciously putting a mirror up to myself, like are they thinking, who are you being right now? Like, oh, you're playing with the crowd, like who do you, I don't know, like what are they thinking of me right now? And and their opinions matter, and
they're too in the know of like the exact like type of thing you're doing, type of performance you're doing, like and it's like in some ways comedians watching other comedians is great because they laugh pretty easily, but sometimes you know that, like I know when I watch other comedy, if it's like beginners, it's hard to switch your brain off being like, oh, they're trying that, it didn't quite work or something like that. But so I wondered with comedy folks coming to my show if they would be like, oh, Chels, you tried, or something like I don't know whose voice that was.
Yeah, that wasn't British, that wasn't brother,
that was a new
was
fellow.
Somebody maybe that was that teacher who was like, are you on antidepressants?
Exactly.
Get on them if not. Oh my god. No, totally, it is like you want to impress the people that you think are impressive, and so it's like you just want to, but I do think also sometimes the people, the nice part of comedians being in the audience is that they can appreciate some of the moves that you're making that general audiences don't see. And it's like, or even if you tried and it didn't land the way you wanted it to, oftentimes I'll watch something that will happen and I think, oh, that was really ambitious to try that. I really fucking respect that. And maybe there was no laugh, but it's like, who cares? I so respect that you tried to do that. Oh, that was actually smart. It just didn't land because of this thing or whatever. And so I think sometimes it's nice, but I don't mind comedians, but it's people who know me as a person. I'm like, please, I want you to like me too much, and I'm gonna make this show about pleasing you. And it's like, ugh,
and it's or like you're subconsciously like catering it to them, and you don't even realize you're doing it.
Oh, like what joke? What do they think this is funny? Oh my god, I know that they like Cheerios. I'll make a Cheerios joke. And you're like, who the fuck cares? Be in the moment. Like, who cares that you know they like Cheerios? Who likes Cheerio? Anyway,
I do.
I don't mind actually, and they have like some new flavors, and I was like, oh, should I try these new flavors? I'm like, who cares? That's not cool. I'm like, no, I like it.
Actually,
Cheerios are great. I love cereal in general. Okay, well, I would love to wrap up our little chat. Oh my god, I'm having so much fun with you. Okay,
have my final sip.
Oh my god, I love perfect timing. Okay, so I would love for the final. It's kind of like a rapid fire. It's sort of just like random collection of questions for you.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Here we go. And you're such a seasoned improviser too. I'm like, sure, it's rapid fire, but it's okay if it takes a bit because the questions are setting you up a bit for failure with rapid fire.
Perfect.
Okay.
Be prepared.
I wonder how many times we sing it before Disney like sends me a cease and desist order. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Question number 1. I learned that you love blooper reels. Oh my god, me too. What is your favorite blooper reel right now?
Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't know who told you this, but I love it. My favorite blooper reel of all time is It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh.
Any season of that show, if I'm feeling sad, I just watch those bloopers, or if I want to give up performing, I watch those bloopers, and it makes me want to continue doing comedy because they're having
Yes.
so much fun. And
Oh,
they started with nothing, and they made a short film of one scene of their first episode, and that's what they pitched. And they just are having so much fun, and it's their friends having fun. Yeah.
oh, it's the dream. I think blooper reels
Oh,
were what made me finally decide as a kid, like, I want to do this. It was
yes,
blooper reels where I'm like, that's what I want to do. And I will watch blooper reels for shows that I have never even seen.
me
I just
too.
enjoy the blooper reels. It's
Yeah,
so fun.
I love it.
Yes, I heard you say this in an interview, and I literally was like, should I text her right now? I
Oh
need
my
to tell
God,
her.
I love that.
Oh my God, it's so fun. Now, if you find a good one, just send it to me, and I'll send them to you
I
because
love it.
they're the best. Okay, this is what I'm talking about, rapid fire, because I ruin it. Okay,
Okay.
number 2, you have an incredible, and I'm not exaggerating here, people, incredible singing voice. Other than Be Prepared, what what song makes you, like, what song when you sing it just makes you feel like the best singer in the world?
Oh, okay. I love Chaka Khan.
What?
I
Wait, I don't
love.
think I know that song, and normally I would pretend.
Okay, I love her. So I love Chaka Khan singing. It's called Ain't Nobody.
Oh my God,
Ain't
hold on.
nobody.
Oh, wait, oh my God. It
Yeah.
was an artist, and I was like, I don't know that song.
Oh no,
Jesus.
I laughed through it.
To call
So
it out.
yeah,
No,
I have to pronounce
thank you.
to pronounce her name properly. Chaka Khan.
No, I just need to know that. That's a great song.
Yes, it's a good. I don't know why I like it. I think I had a babysitter that played it around the clock
Oh,
in the
yes.
90s, and
You're like, I might be the most amazing singer in the world.
I love Chaka Khan. Looking at me, you would not know, but I love her, and I love that song.
Okay, love. Oh my God, that's amazing. Okay. Oh, now there's a word in here that I might butcher and I might not know how to say, and that's fine. Okay, we're sweating, and that's just normal. Okay. In 2015, you did a show called Quip Talk with Nikki. Is it Nasrallah?
Yes.
Oh, thank God. I've always seen Nikki's last name written, and I realized as I was about to read it that I've never read it out loud. Okay.
Yeah.
In 2015, you did a show called Quip Talk with Nikki Nasrallah, and I have to know, do you have narcolepsy, and do you still hate Jennifer Lawrence?
Oh my God. Yes, I do have narcolepsy.
Oh my God! Okay, they were right. The doctors.
Yes,
okay.
It's so messed up. It's untreated. I have all
It's untreated.
I have all these kinds of sleep disorders. I'm still being tested for it like 5 years later.
Oh.
And Jennifer Lawrence, I hate her. She's actually crazy. He's always like, I'm just a regular girl. Oops, I fell at the Oscars. Like, you fell on purpose. Come on. I don't like that she forces her regularhood.
I see.
Regular
as if it's
up.
like a unique. It's very like. I feel like this was a 90s thing too. Like when the quirky girl was first on the scene, it was very forced on us. Not even by actors, just by like the industry. Like, look, this is what makes her unique. She's quirky. And I'm like, literally, she's a model with glasses. You have not changed. You're not embracing. You're not embracing a group of underrepresented others. You're just taking the same group and slapping glasses on them and being like, look how quirky and different she is. Yeah.
I think she fell on purpose to collect her Oscar.
You do?
I think it was to be like, look at me. Like, she's like, I'm 22 and I'm going to fall. And then she might regret it. But I don't like that she keeps being like, I'm a regular girl. Fart, burp. Like,
just fart and burp is the feeling.
I'm your own. We don't need to know.
Right. Totally. Okay.
Okay.
Oh my God, so interesting.
I could sleep all day, every day. My day night clocks are switched. If you, it's a mess. It's in progress.
A mess. In progress. Okay. Okay. So, we'll check in. We'll do another like mini episode in a couple years, and we'll check in how we're doing. Okay. We'll check in how the narcolepsy is doing and other sleep disorders, and then also how you're feeling about Jennifer Lawrence at that time.
And if she announced that she did it, she fell on purpose.
Oh, she should tell you first if that happens.
Tell me and I'll spread the word.
Okay, great. I mean, you already are, so you're doing God's work for her already, which is great. I have been so jealous of her, mostly because I want the attention and the validation that she gets. That's what I want. I never want to have had to act in Winter's Bone, but like Hunger Games would have been fun, and like or Mother. I'd never want to have acted in Mother. It was awful.
Also, Joy. I don't think I even gave that one a chance.
Oh. Yeah, I watched it. I can't remember. Like,
But American
Yeah.
Hustle, I was like, just you shut up now.
American.
There's not many that I don't like. I
Yeah.
don't know what it is. I don't like her. I don't know what it is.
All right. Well, listen, it sounds like it's like an instinctual, innate
Yeah.
thing. Maybe if people believe in past lives, maybe there was a situation.
Yeah.
She was the good twin and you were the bad twin. Then maybe, or maybe
believe it.
she was the bad twin. Maybe she was a murdering twin or something.
Yeah, there's something in there. There's something in the stars. I don't know.
There's something in the. There must be something in the
Yeah.
water. I feel like that's. I don't know why. I feel like I just listened to that song or something. Okay, so sorry. See, this is what I'm talking about. Rapid fire. Okay,
Yeah.
number 4. Number 4? Are we in school? Okay, who is someone? We're in school. Everyone have their antidepressant pills. Okay.
Yes.
Raise your hand. Okay. Who is someone, it can be in the Toronto community or outside of it, that you'd love to work with and you just haven't gotten the chance to yet?
Oh. Ooh. We might have to edit out some of my ums and ahs.
I'm loving them.
There's a lot of people.
Right. Yes.
Okay. This is a Toronto.
You just thought of one and then you're like, never mind.
So this is a Toronto adjacent person.
Okay.
This person has lived here, and then not lived here, and so I love Andrew Johnston. I think he is the funniest human I've ever met, and we are friends. But he is a successful stand-up who has moved to LA, and he hosted Sketchersons once when I was in Sketchersons, and I just everything I ever write, I want him to be in it, all of the things. I just think we have some kind of connection. I think he makes me cry laughing, so it would be him for sure.
Does he know this?
Yes, he does. And he says the same thing to me, even though he's probably only seen me perform twice.
But that was enough. Sometimes you don't need to see people more than twice.
It's just there's some people you meet every once in a while and you just have a connection, and I just think he's the funniest person. I used to watch him on Video on Trial. Remember that?
Yes.
On Much
Music. My
Music.
God. Yes.
Around a long time. He just is in LA now. But when he comes back, if I ever get anything made ever, I'll give him a call.
Yeah. Or maybe you go to LA and you two make something, and then you continue Groundlings, and maybe that's what you do.
That would be great too. Yeah,
all
I
right.
just love him. Yeah.
Let's start a GoFundMe sending Chelsea to LA. That's what we're going to be doing.
Yeah.
Okay, my last rapid fire question for you is, in your show, Chels Stands Alone, you admitted, we said before, you were saying how people around you might be talking about something that you don't know, and then you used to pretend to know to avoid feeling dumb, or that's what I do, to avoid negative feelings. Okay, what is something right now that you feel like you should know about or understand, but secretly you feel totally clueless?
The main thing that comes up a lot is Canadian politics. I don't care. It's so damn boring. I just people will talk about things and I'll just be like, oh, how could he do that? And then I'm like, I don't know who they're talking about or what he's done, and I should. And it's also an embarrassment as a Canadian from Ottawa. I should know.
No, I don't know how it works. I don't understand the system.
And people are all up in arms about this person did this thing, this woman did this. Let's tweet about it. But I'm like, and my brother and my dad and my boyfriend will all talk about things. And I'm like, are they on different sides or the same side? I don't.
Are they arguing or are they encouraging each other? I'm confused. Yeah.
And my mom is she watches CNN and CTV. She watches it all day. I cannot keep up.
Yeah.
And if I try to, I will fall asleep. I will fall asleep anywhere anyway. We know that.
It's not my fault. No,
I know.
It's Canadian it's so funny because I was like, okay, if this question is weirdly worded, I should be I should have an example for myself, and mine's the exact same. I don't know how our political system works. Literally, it's hard, or I feel stupid because even the other day somebody was like, oh, I don't know, they were unhappy with Trudeau, and then they were like, oh, is it because he got a haircut? And I was like, I didn't even fucking know he got a haircut. I understand haircuts. That's an update I could have brought to the table and not sound like an idiot, and I don't know that. Or and I feel guilty sometimes because I'm like, God, I want the world to be a better place, and yet I don't know that this person's evil, or
responsible for this or that.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Yeah,
I
yeah.
driving along Bloor Street in Toronto on Saturday and Sunday, there are protests around Bay and Bloor
Okay.
every time, every day, every Saturday, Sunday. And like I was like, okay, I'm in traffic. I'm gonna pay attention to these signs. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna see what people are protesting. So I looked to one side of the street, and uh, it was like a bunch of people saying like, you know, support for Ukraine. I was like, okay, I understand that.
Yeah.
And then I looked across the street, and it was like, boo Ukraine, support for Russia. And I was like, huh? And then on both sides, they had signs that said fuck Trudeau on both sides. Then
Well.
I go a bit further, and it was like, boo abortion. And then the other one was like, yay abortion. And they also had fuck Trudeau signs. And I
Oh
was
my
like,
God. What?
everyone hates him in every direction. And then I went further. Like everything was being protested everywhere. And I was like, I know less than I did before. Like I was trying to keep up.
Yeah,
And people
yeah,
had
yeah.
signs about Doug Ford, and it was like, yay Doug Ford, boo Doug Ford.
Oh.
And I was like, everyone hates everyone. I know that's true.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Everybody hates somebody, at
Yes,
least.
yes,
I just don't know who I hate.
yeah. At what point do we hate who? For
And when,
what?
yeah,
For what?
or when, and for
And
what.
I'll do it.
I'll do it if you tell me.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's gotten so bad. Like, there's a couple people in the comedy community who are so good about like posting when things are happening, and genuinely sometimes they are my news sources, specifically
Yes.
Paloma and Anne. They are
Yes.
so good, and I'm like, oh wow, okay, so like something about our healthcare system going
Yep.
privatized.
Yep.
All right, thank you Paloma for the CNN update right now. Like,
So I understudied She the People with Anne and Paloma.
yes, you
And
did.
I at Second City, and I understudied Ashley Como. It was, yeah, all female cast. And one of the things that Ashley Como, one of the roles she had, was to call the Premier of Ontario, Christine Elliott, live in front of the audience. So on the nights I was there, I had to call her on speakerphone, and I was like, okay, so what am I saying? Like, so it was like my nightmare.
I just got chills. Genuinely,
I
I think I
know.
would quit. I don't know. What?
And she made me a little script where I was like, hello, Christine. It's me from Chelsea Town, Second City.
Oh,
Please. And Kirsten Rasmussen would be like, say it. So like I was trying to get it out and be like, we want education for the children. Give it to us. But like I didn't really know what was happening. But like
yeah. You're like, I don't know. Is
example.
this what I should be? Chelsea, like, what is a premiere? Like, what? Great. Yeah. I'm like, there's the prime minister,
Yeah.
and then there's like the mayors of the towns.
Yes. And then we have a Doug Ford, and then we have a her. Or maybe she's gone. I don't know.
So what are the Doug Ford, like the prime ministers of the provinces?
Yes. Oh, he is the premier of Ontario. And then we have the mayor of Toronto, which is John
Doug
Tory.
Ford. I mean,
or no,
John
Doug,
Tory.
Yeah, and then Doug. See? It changes. And then
it changes. That's what it is. It's not us. Okay, so a premier is like the prime minister of the province.
Yes.
Oh my God. Thank God. Okay, great.
Yes. So I think she was like maybe like our riding like rep or something. I don't know. But
okay.
I had to call her, and I left her a lot of messages.
Oh.
They were probably like, and like I'm sure the audience was like, get on with it. And I was like, I don't know. And I'd be like, everyone, like I took the speakerphone and be like, audience, let's everybody say boo, or like
you're like something at least like abstract enough that like it'll land, but like we can't be neutral. We have to. I literally was about to be like, we can't be Switzerland, and I was like, is it Sweden?
No, yeah.
What is wrong? I'm like, now I think I'm panicking, and all of my knowledge is crumbling. I think that's
too much. We can't learn it all.
Too much knowledge. We have Google. It's over now. It's done. Okay.
It's just boring.
It's just I just want to memorize be prepared, and that's it. I don't want to do anything else.
That's most important at this juncture.
1,000% in my life. 1,000%. Oh my God. Okay. So to fully wrap this up, I want to ask, okay, so something that I am trying to get better at is asking for what I want, or at least like saying what I want into the ether so people even know. So I want to do like, I don't know, it's not manifesting. I don't know what it is, but what is something for you, Chelsea, that right now you could put out in the universe that like you would really like for this to happen. Maybe in your career, it could be personal life if you want, but it's like, I've always wanted to work on this show or with these people, or I've always wanted to do this thing, and people might not know that. So hey, if you're out there and you're hiring,
Yeah.
hit me up.
I think like sometimes because of the way I come across, like I'm very like, like giggly and silly and like joyful and like I am funny on stage, like people enjoy watching me. But sometimes I feel like powers that be at various places I maybe want to part working with or TV show on or whatever, they all like me, but often I'm not chosen for like the top spot. And I think it's almost because like they take my lightheartedness as like not being like committed or serious, which is like not the truth at all. So I think I want to manifest like I don't know, like maybe being given more chances. Because I know like if the door's open to crack, like for me to get more chances, I know I can nail it once I get there. And
Absolutely.
that's partly why I did my own show, because it's like if I was fully in control of what I'm creating and what I'm putting out there, I can show like all sides of myself. And I don't need someone to like open this door for me. So I think that's pretty broad, but like I think that counts for like, you know, uh TV and like, comedy stuff on stage and things like that. Like I would like just maybe like horizons to be just broadened a little bit of like who to include, because I might not look like everybody you think that a lead would look like, or that I'm, the anchor of something in a cast might physically look like or sound like. But like the times I've gotten that chance, like I've nailed it. So I think that's the case for a lot of women who are not like quote unquote perfect looking. Like we kind of have to work a bit harder, and it sucks in that sense, because it's like there's multiple like kind of things against us, even more so than like there already is. So yeah, I would love yeah, I don't know if I can make that happen, but I'm still gonna try. And
Yes.
yeah, and I hope I'll still try to like write my own thing and like prove myself as much as I can. But on the other end, I would love for places to be like, hey, let's have a chubby little curly headed gal for the lead part.
With a face. Let's show her
Yeah,
face.
let's show her face.
Like,
Let's give it
let's
a
also
chance.
show her face. Yes.
Yeah.
And like I know you said like, you'll keep creating your own work and proving yourself. But I just also want to say, because I think it's harder to say for yourself, like you've already proved yourself. You've been doing this for decades. And also there isn't another person I can think of in the comedy community that has as many people outwardly vouching for you like as you do. I don't know anyone else where like for you, I've seen people post on Instagram like the most like not underestimated, what was the word, or just like someone who like people are not freaking out enough about is Chelsea Larkin. Or I was reading
Kaya Green said something so nice.
And so did okay, yeah. No, what did Kaya say?
Kaya said like Chelsea has been like secretly becoming like the best comedian in the city, like hire her or something. Just stuff like that. And that, yeah, it's nice. I have like nice friends that are experienced and have seen a lot of talent that would like advocate for me and stuff. But and even that means a lot, because like like you said, I can think it and feel it and hope it, but it's nice that I can like penetrate all the different groups and cliques in the city, and everybody enjoys me. But I want it. And like that is enough, but I feel like sometimes I get frustrated because I'm just like, oh, put me in, coach, all the way.
Yeah, and also it's okay if that's not enough, because also it's like it's really nice when people say wonderful things about you. Yeah. And mind you, those might be the people that don't have the power to like cast you as a lead and stuff, right? And they probably would. Like if Kaya wrote a show, they probably would,
Yeah.
But I think it's okay that it's like, no, people are saying all these nice things, and also I want to see like the fruits of that labor. Like, okay, so exactly, put me in, coach. Like,
yeah.
And you would nail it. You have been nailing it for years and years. You are such an incredible writer and performer, and like genuinely, no, I've never heard anyone have a negative thing to say about you. Like, honestly. And I've seen people go out of their way. Like, even I was reading a written interview with somebody and they were like, oh, and I just need to shout out Chelsea Larkin. She's fucking amazing. I have to find it. I went into a very deep dive, as you can tell, referencing 2015 Quip Talk.
Yes.
I also watched Beth and her boyfriends. I went very deep. So anyway, I will find the article, but people are championing. People are cheering you on.
Yeah.
Screw the champions. We're not going that way. We're doing cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Championing you on. And it's just a matter of time, but also like, yeah, you totally deserve those options. And so, hey, anyone listening right now who has those opportunities, like, you would be so fucking lucky to get Chelsea on your team.
Oh, thank you.
And she might not be available anymore because she might already be booked.
Yeah, so be prepared. It really fits for everything.
It really fits for fucking everything, and it always makes you feel better.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Liquid Courage podcast. If you liked what you saw and you're looking to support the show, here's a few ways you can help. You can leave the show a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts, or you can follow the show on Instagram and TikTok at Liquid Courage Podcast. Or, and best of all, you can tell a friend about the show. Tell a family member, tell a coworker, post about your favorite episode online. Spread the word. That really is the best way to help support the show and help it grow. Did I just rhyme? Okay, until the next episode, cheers!